We have, you know, very often in our everyday life, things break, things come apart, and we need an easy way to fix them and put them back together. And that's where RapidFix comes in. This is actually a dual system instant adhesive. We're gonna show you how this works, but you're gonna get the adhesive as well as the welding powder for $14.95. Normally it's $10 more. And if there are any left at the end of this day today, the price will go up. Peter Kilcullen is joining us to give us all the details. And Peter, hello. I see an array of things here on our table.
Show you a lot of cool things that we can permanently bond.
That's good.
And you know, you talked about this, you know, being a glue, and we have all those things that happen. You know, and I know we've had a lot of experience with super glues. Now, this is not an ordinary super glue. It's much more than that. And one of the first things that I want to mention about it, you know, not being a super glue is, how often have you gone to grab that super glue after a few months and it's completely dried out? Yeah. I mean, this is my favorite thing about this. It's not going to dry out. I mean, we're talking for a year. This can be in that bottle, and it's even if you left the cap off, it will not dry out. So just first thing, and then we've got to see how great this is going to work. So here's what we're going to do. So first thing, Pete's going to put on his glasses so I can do some of this up close for everybody. Okay. So we're going to take this this rubber gasket, so right here, and I want to show you that the difference with this is that you don't have to struggle, meaning you don't have to try to rush to get this done. I'm just going to put one drop on there. Can you see that? I just got one drop. I'll just spread that around a little bit. That's all it takes? Yeah, that's all it takes. And then I'm not rushing. So now I'm going to put that together. And how this glue works is that I'm going to remove the oxygen. So I don't even think I matched that up perfectly. But I'm pushing that together, removing that oxygen. So even though you can see that I didn't get that perfectly matched, can you see that?
Wow.
Wow. A few seconds, there we go. So it's an instant bond, because that's how it works. What's so cool about this is that I don't have to, you can even see that there's some that I didn't use that's actually just there, and I can just wipe off that excess, because it actually won't dry. It's not gonna dry out. What we're doing is making sure that we eliminate that oxygen. So you have plenty of time to work with this type of glue. You have time to make sure that you get it together, then you're pressing out that oxygen. So the elimination of oxygen is what makes this work. So instant adhesive, and then, you know, that filler, that welding powder, that's gonna allow you to do a ton of other different demonstrations which I think are really cool. The nozzle gives you that pinpoint application because you're only going to need a drop at a time, and then the adhesive dries clear, and again, repairs glass, ceramics, you know, that ABS plastic, and all of these things, different types of materials that you're able to glue together. Instant filler, and we're going to show you that in a moment to fill cracks and gouges. But let me just do one more here. I wanted to continue to show you this. Back to the glasses. All right. So again, I'm just going to put that one drop right here. Let me just get one drop out of there. I mean, that's all we're doing is that one drop. So that actually even is a lot right there. And you can see that I have a bowling ball with that same thing. And so what I do is I just press that on there. So now I'm pushing. I'm gonna press on that. You know, maybe we give it 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds or so. And then I check that. Okay, are we there? So this side I had already done. Here's the new side. Oh my gosh. There's the new side. Again, that's what we're talking about. And again, you can see that right there, it's still wet on the outside of there, because that's not gonna dry. Because all we're doing is eliminating that oxygen, and there's that bond. Wow. I mean, that's what we're talking about. And I think if you've had that experience with the super glues, that they're so difficult to work with. Here, it's that instant bond. You're pressing it together, and you're eliminating that oxygen, which makes it so neat. And that's still going good. You saw how fast that was, and it works best on non-porous surfaces. So think about that. We've got rubber. You've got the bowl. That blows me away. With the adhesive alone. But some of those other areas, you can use the welding powder. That's what we're talking about, this filler, this welding powder, because now that can work on some of those other different areas to go together. So let me show you this. We just have some pre-drilled holes in here, but I wanted you to see that if this was a gouge, if this was going to be a crack in, you know, your furniture, maybe it's the coffee table, maybe it's the edge of a cabinet, and you want it to be able to fix that. So here's what's so cool about this. Now, this is the filler. This is that welding powder. So if I just pour that into the hole, I'm actually going to overfill it a little bit, just like that, and then I'm just going to wipe that off the top. So now the powder's in there all by itself, but watch this. As I soak that with the adhesive, now check that out. Now, in seconds, I was basically done. I'm gonna wipe that away. Now, this is going to be completely sandable, paintable, and I'll show you that. I want you to see that in there, that powder.
Oh, wow.
That has hardened already. So that is completely ready to go. So if that was a crack, if that was a gouge, you could paint that, you could stain it, you could sand it, and it's done in seconds. That's what's so cool about that.
Gosh.
And I'll show you, when we talk about this being a welding powder, look at some of these welds that we've done.
Okay.
You see that, how you're filling those cracks? I mean, that's why we're calling that a welding powder. So this is copper to copper, but check this out. This is, I'm gonna show, there it is. Look at that area right there. I mean, it looks like a weld, except it's not metal.
Gosh.
This is our two-part adhesive, this dual adhesive. I mean, it's amazing that you're able to do that.
No
so again,
blowtorch
you may
required.
not, right, exactly. You may not be using a blowtorch, you may not be doing these things, but to have that ability to fix things like a hole and even a rubber hose, if it's your garden hose, you'll be able to fix that. And if you have an emergency on a copper pipe and PVC, you're gonna be able to use it, because a normal super glue couldn't do that. I mean, bonding together, you see that this is going to bond, but then be able to have that other part of this, that this is a dual part adhesive where that bonding or that welding powder is there, is amazing.
And you saw how fast it was. You saw how little Peter used. So you're gonna have this for a long time. And the idea that if you either leave the top off or of the adhesive, or maybe you just don't tighten it enough, it's not going to dry out.
Right,
that in itself, like you mentioned those other glues that we've used before, you literally use them one time because you can't go back a second time because they're dried out. But this, you saw, it's comfortable. Anything that doesn't get used, you can wipe it away, so it's not just kind of messing up the look of whatever it is you're putting together. And now you're going metal to metal.
This one's tough. Here we go. Look at that in seconds. It's
oh my gosh, that's done. That's forever. I mean, look at that.
These are the ones I did yesterday. I did a bunch of these. I mean, again, every time I do it, I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I mean, when we think about, any type of glue or super glue, to be able to bond that metal to metal, I think is just amazing. I mean, metal to glass, ceramics. Think about tile, different tiles and ceramics and Christmas ornaments and things like that. Everything fixes from, a shoe or sandal or even a flip-flop, that rubber to rubber, plastic to rubber. It's really amazing. All the different bonds that we get with that. That is.
And think about that.
You want to try that?
Yeah, I mean, I know. And this is the one you just did?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
These were all done just yesterday. Again, when you see that, you're really amazed that metal to metal and some of these other difficult things that we're showing you, when you have an ordinary fix at home, something breaks, something that you've always had. We all have those shelves in our living areas that have, a lot of, different things that, they have some sentimental value. You want to be able to make sure you can fix those if something happens. This is the way to do it. Maybe you're like me. I know that I've had, my son Harry has his trophies and things, and when they break, you end up just keeping the broken pieces because you really can't put it together. But if you're able to use something like this and bond that back together permanently, and it's so simple, you're gonna love it.
It makes all the difference too. And I'll tell you, the fact that we've got this at $10 off makes it even better, because these are the kind of things that you're going to use. And even if you use it just to fix one thing, and it makes that big difference, you're gonna be glad that you had it. You're getting $10 off on this. So for $14.95, you're getting both the welding powder that you just saw Peter put in there, and you get the adhesive. And that's all you need. You've got 2 flex payments if you want to use flex pay. They're $7.48 to get this home. And you're going to use it in so many different areas. Remember, non-porous, non-porous surfaces are always best when it comes to the bonding them together. But simple and I'm noticing it's not getting stuck on your hands.
No, you can wash it right off. I haven't had any difficulty working with it. I mean, you want to be careful with glue because it is an adhesive, but yeah, you're going to be totally fine with that because you only need a little drop. The bottle makes it super easy to get that perfect little single drop in those areas, because a lot of these things, when we are doing it, you're doing it up close. I mean, you saw me put my glasses on because you're doing it in a very, a small area, but just a single drop makes such a difference. Remember, you don't need a lot of the glue, and if you can press out that oxygen, this glue is going to have that instant bond, because it's that elimination of oxygen that activates this. That's why when you're using the glue, like I was showing you with even this rubber gasket, you put it on one end, you have plenty of time to work with it. It doesn't create that bond until you push it together, eliminate the oxygen, and then whammo, and it is a strong bond.
So actually make sure, because once it's on, that's it. I was just looking in the package. This is the way that it comes, so both of them together. I was looking in the package, and there's a picture of figurines. Many of us have little collectibles that over time, maybe something's gotten knocked off or it has fallen, and you just love it, and you don't want it you don't want to throw it out, put it back together. I'm seeing automotive, situations that you might be using this for, a light or something of that nature. You are gonna use this all over the home, inside and outside, and it's a drop. I can only imagine how long this one bottle is gonna last because you don't need to use all of it. And if you are filling something in, like you can see Peter's doing, once you get that nice and hardened, you can weld it, you can paint it, you can do anything.
Exactly, so we just have many, many holes cut in this copper pipe. But I wanted you to see that as I was filling that. So it's a little bit of the glue, then the filler powder, and then I actually went and did it again to kind of build it up. But now that was instant.
Yeah.
I mean, listen to that as I'm filing that down. So you can sand it, you can file it, but if this was a hole in that copper pipe, it is fixed.
Yeah.
If this was in, things that you use more often, if you have a pool like many of us have in Florida, like all the piping and PVC, this is going to be a lifesaver because those repairs are so expensive.
Yeah.
This is going to allow you to do that. You're absolutely gonna love to be able to make all those repairs. So I know we're almost out of time. Let's go back to the one that we did start it. So actually, I'm gonna leave that one there.
That's the one we did when we started the show.
Okay. So let's cut that, and then we'll glue that again.
And that's something that, we're showing you live in real time, exactly how you're gonna use it.
Exactly, it's just that single drop. Let me make sure I get a little drop out of there. You go. And you can see that on there. And again, I'm not in any hurry now to make sure that glue's not gonna dry, it's not gonna cause any problem. All I have to do is make sure that I get together, almost as good as there we go.
Okay.
So once I get it together, now I'm gonna press that, and I can see some coming out. I'm gonna press it. I'm trying to make sure I eliminate that oxygen, make sure that I get that bond together.
Wow.
I've done it. So now,
look at that.
So now we even have the 2 cuts in that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good because it's so instant that you're able to do this, and that's what's so amazing about it. It's never going to dry out. You're going to have it, for at least a year, even if you leave the cap off it. So many things. I mean, think about just in a year how many incidents and accidents we have and things breaking.
Definitely go ahead and pick up yours. I see a lot of you doing that, and I'm glad that you are. So weekend sale price. The sale price goes away at the end of this day. And Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
As always,
Appreciate it. Thanks.
for sure. Enjoy yours. $14.95.